video is brought to you by Dusty Vaquero. Punchy, poetic, pure.
He died right after one of my kids was born. And when, actually the kid that song, that's in that song, he was born in August, and then Joe died in November. But I used to take the baby over there to see him. Like, that was TR's first outing out of the house, was to go see Uncle Joe, because he couldn't come upstairs into the house. Anyway, so I talked to her a few years after that, and I was like, we went to the graveyard the other day. The kids and I go walk there sometimes and go and look at all, you know. It's like, we were there for something, Veterans Day or something, and Uncle Joe still has just like a metal plate with his, like, there was no stone. And she was like, yeah, I just haven't been able to order it. I've been trying to order it, and I just can't find the perfect one. And I said, well, also when you see it in stone, it's permanent. And she was like, yes, and I can't do it. I was like, you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's fine. You don't have to. What difference does it make? You know, you don't have to. The second verse, my husband, before we bought that house, it was empty and it belonged to his uncle. Whenever Roy's dad died, we all went to Yancey where we lived, and Roy came through Hondo and came to this house because it had a shop that was level, and he built his dad a casket. So, and it, like, all of his dad's friends were there, and they were just watching him just sit and build this casket, and they were all telling stories, and he was just hammering away, you know, getting his grief out, just building this casket. Yeah, and then I was like, I thought that was its own song, you know? And then eventually I was like, oh wait, these are the same. These are all the same song. Like, they just have to be. Got her legs crossed at her ankles and her purse down by her feet. She takes a look around and wonders how this came to be. The boy that's there beside her, spitting image of the man who carried all the weight, built this house with his two hands. In 40 some odd years, she never had to sleep alone. It's been 3 years in November, she still ain't bought a stone. Said, I used to be a lover, but I still feel like a wife. That's the way that it goes in the game of death and life. Father always tries to treat a boy just like a man, and he saw his head away to work through life with his two hands. He knew that he was dying, but before his days were done, after he said all his goodbyes, he asked one more thing of his son. Well, his old man died in April, and he went to build a box. Every nail in every board was a tear that never dropped. Then he had a baby boy born on the same day as his dad. So he took his name to give him, it's the best thing that he had. Souls, they move in circles as the generations pass, and the old ones hold the young as though the time will never last. And the dusk leads to the dawn, and as the darkness brings us light, that's the way that it goes in the game of death and life. All the children at the graveyard, they're just jumping over rocks. They're reading all the names on all the cemetery plots, soaking up the sun and wondering how it feels to die. That's the way that it goes in the game of death and life. Souls, they move in circles as the generations pass, and the young ones hold the old like it's the only thing dusk leads to the dawn, and as the darkness brings us light, that's the way that it goes in the game of death and life. That's the way that it goes in the game of death and life. That's the way that it